And touch of sadness, of course, for us was the passing of Tony Charlton early this morning.
Yes, and he left us with great dignity and spoken of in the media today as a gentleman, as a quiet achiever, as a man with great dignity, as well as a great professional radio, television, sports commentator.
The end came very suddenly. It's only 2 weeks ago he was at Hamer Hall for the Seekers' 50th anniversary reunion.
Yes, and paying a tribute tonight. We're so glad that Rex is with us, Rex Hunt. Thank you for joining us on Nightline, Rex.
Well, no, Phil, I thank you, because it's just lovely to be back on home. 3AW, of course. 25 years of my life was spent at 3AW, a wonderful family, and I have great memories, but I also have delightful memories of Tony Charlton. And I said on another interview today on an opposition station that Tony was similar to Bob Davis. He didn't have to die for people to think that he was a good bloke. He was a good bloke a long, long time ago, and still would have known when he started at Channel 9, that the Tony Charlton football show was rivaling the world of sport with Rod Casey way back in the 60s. And I can recall, it's just a bit of a remember when, isn't it? I can recall in 1968 as a young, blonde-headed centre-half forward for Richmond winning the Tony Charlton Footballer of the Day award and going into the Bendigo Street studios. And Tony Charlton was there to meet me personally. It was just absolutely fantastic. My wife Lynn rang me today, and I'm in Tasmania at the moment, fly fishing for trout, which is my great love, apart from my grandchildren. And Bruce, you could relate to that, the love of grandchildren and the frustration we feel for those people in America, and how someone can actually take aim at an innocent child and pull the trigger. If someone can actually explain that to me, well, leave that for another day. But Tony Charlton was a great man. He is a great man. He broadcast early in his career at 3AW and 3DB and 3KZ. And he, along with Alan McGilvray from the ABC, inspired me to broadcast. Now, you blokes both know the term broadcast is different from describing. And anyone can describe what they're seeing, particularly in cricket and football. And, as well as I'm talking about here, Philip, because, broadcasting is understanding the game, having a love of the game, having a love of what you're broadcasting, and actually or getting your voice through the microphone out into the broadcasting area. And Tony Charlton did this ever so well. And when I first came to 3AW in the late 70s, and Harry Beitzel said to me, look, I think you should go to another station and get some experience and come back, when there's probably a chance for you. And I came back in 1989 after being at 3DB for 8 years, and I rang Tony Charlton and said, look, Harry Beitzel is leaving to go to 3AK in those days. Brian White, as you know, tried the networking thing, which continually falls over, and our very own Blankers went there too, you know what I mean? And the same as Smokey Dawson from the ABC. And I rang Tony Charlton and he said, just be yourself. And that was the greatest thing that he's ever said to me. And I find now, even with the young kids I'm working with, Craig Hutchison, I tell the kids to be themselves. You don't want to be me. You don't want to be Bruce McAvaney. Just be yourself. But what a wonderful, wonderful man. And I think rather than being sad, Bruce and Phil and listeners, it is a time to reflect on a marvellous life. And two things that I'd like to mention to you both and the listeners is this. The job he did as the MC of Clinton Driver's funeral was just superb. I have never been to a life celebration like we did with Clinton, and have felt such dignity and such passion from a man that genuinely was there to make everyone feel better. The other thing was when he was inducted into the AFL Hall of Fame for his media work. And that will be a legacy that will live with him and his family and his wife Loris forever. And, of course, the other thing was the unsung work that he did for the Alfred Hospital. And people say to me at some stage, you've been a hero. I said, I'm not a hero. I'm far from it. The real heroes are the people in the medical profession and the people who dedicate their lives to making other people's lives better. And Tony Charlton was just that. And Tony Charlton didn't have to pass on early this morning to become a good bloke, because he was a good bloke from the day he was born.
Oh, well said. Isn't it amazing? I mean, we pay all these accolades to him, and yet he was such a softly spoken gentleman, wasn't he, Rex?
I'm not quite so sure whether he would have actually got on in this day and age because, you know, we look at the way cricket has gone, Philip and Bruce, and it's all about the pajama game and hitting sixes and that sort of thing, and even Test cricket now. I can remember Bruce, make 150 runs for the first day in Test cricket, and that was a great game. Now they make 300 and 400.
Yeah.
But he was just the person for his time, and I'm really, really proud to say that the AFL has paid a great tribute to this man today, and paid a great tribute a couple of years ago when they inducted him into the Hall of Fame for his media work, and he joins the great and late Ron Casey, 3RW's very own Harry Beitzel. And, of course, he joins those two absolute legends as somebody who will never, ever forget for their contribution.
Well, I've heard a lot of tributes to Tony Charlton today, but no one summed it up better than you in the last 5-10 minutes, and I thank you very much indeed for that, Rex.
Bruce, because I'm home. It was no good me jumping up and down when Shane Healy said, I think it's time. Hey, when someone says it's time, mate, you shake them by the hand and you walk out. You don't bite and scratch because Lynn and I just love 3AW, mate. We have it on all the time, and I tell you what, if they keep on dishing up this rubbish on television, mate, your ratings are going to go through the roof because many, many nights at 9 o'clock, we're in bed listening to Bruce and Phil, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And let me just say to you, without embarrassing both of you, thank you very much for the job that you do in the community with all those lonely people. And you know why we love you? Because you got time for people. There's too much making fun of people in this world. When people ring up and, they might have a problem, they might stutter, or they might be down on their luck, and the people on the FM band make fun of them. They're still family, and they're still friends, and they're still human beings. And that's why 3AW is a great station, and that's why I'm so proud to have been part of it for so long. And it's great to talk to you boys. Thanks for the time. Vale, Tony Charlton, and 3 cheers for Bruce and Phil. Goodbye for now.
Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you, Rex. Lovely tribute and very, very lovely words. We thank you for it, and thanks for your time. Beautiful message there.
Oh, yeah.
Off the cuff. He was only called 5 minutes ago, and that was all from the heart. Genuine. Absolutely.
It's good to hear your voice again, Rex.
Very lovely. Tony Charlton did the Today Show with Tony Charlton, the Saturday morning edition.
Yes.
Where I read the voiceover news, and he did a sports-type program on a Saturday morning, very early, 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
Was that the first ever breakfast show on TV?
Yeah, and on one occasion he was calling England to speak to Alan Rudvin, who was a boxer about to go into the ring for a very important bout. And Tony Charlton was a perfectionist. Apart from everything else, the gentleman and the soft, lovely voice and the wonderful master of ceremonies, he was a perfectionist. And if anything went wrong, he'd be the first to jump up and down, and it was very much a disciplinarian. So he said, I've got on the line now Mrs. Rudvin in England. Hello, Mrs. Rudvin, how are you?
Oh, very well, thank you.
Is Alan there?
She said, I think, no.
Yes, Alan Rudvin, the boxer. Is he there?
No, you've got the wrong Mrs. Rudford. No, I'm Mrs. Bill Rudford from Newcastle.
Well, he went off his rocker over that, and that was used as a goof for a lot of television fluffs and bloopers over the years.
It was even replayed today. It's amazing.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, it's become legendary, hasn't it?
Yes. All right.
That would have really upset him at the time, as you say.
He was furious.
He would have been mad about it.
He stormed up to that control room. Russ Sefton was on duty. He said, come on, what do they call him? They had a nickname for him. And come on, calm down, mate. Come on, it'll be all right.
Yes,
But any mistake or any sloppiness in the business, Tony wouldn't stand for.
But he'll long be remembered for that blooper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is 3AW. Thanks for that tribute, Rex. Really beautifully done. 19 past 8.